Hello and welcome back to the channel Nobby on Cars. This is the Subaru Forester with an E-Boxer engine. In Ireland, this premium version of the car is €49,000, so we're going to have a look around at it today. What perfect weather for a car like this. It's Ireland, it's cloudy, it's windy, it's lashing rain, stuff that the Forester eats for breakfast. Hopefully. It is quite an imposing car from the front. It's wide, it's high up, it's got a good kind of size about it. Bonnet is nice and long. There's even a pocket in here that heats up air for you before it pumps it into the cabin in the mornings for when it's really, really cold. And when this thing was sitting behind you in the past in your rearview mirror, maybe on the M50, it meant the Gardaí were either wanting to pull you over or get by. And if it's good enough for the guards, then it's probably good enough for us as well. A cool feature is this. There's a little camera there, and when you push the button on the dash, it tells you how close you are to a hedge, a cyclist, a double yellow line, or something like that. And it even comes on when you're driving and will stay on for 4 or 5 minutes automatically. It's very, very handy. And this thing can even spot me in the passenger mirror. What a sight. Another cool feature, electronic boot release, which takes the effort out of opening and closing the boot, of which is absolutely massive.
The boot is pretty big as well, 520 litres of space with the seats up, or a fairly massive 1,779 litres with them folded flat. And hey, while you're checking out these lovely shots of the boot, why not subscribe to the channel right now and hit the notification button as well while you're there. It's free after all.
There's a button here to pull back your rear seats. You don't even need to go around to do it. So it's got a truly massive, usable boot in the Forester. It's permanent all-wheel drive. It has got an 8-inch ground clearance, so there's plenty of room for hopping and jumping over things. And it's even using a kind of hybrid engine to try and keep the fuel economy down. But it is absolutely huge when it comes to interior space. So let's check some of that out right now. Passengers are going to love this car. First of all, the doors open to a pretty much 90-degree angle, which means you have so much room for getting things in and out of. And the windows are huge. There is as near a good as flat floor here, which is really great for larger, more fully grown teenagers. The center console at the back has 2 heated options if you go for the premium version, and there's 2 USB charging points as well, and they are the faster 2.1 charging options. Double storage compartments here, so for whatever reason you might want to keep different things. There is just a nice elevated seated position, great visibility. If you don't go for the glass roof, which comes with the premium option, you get even more roof height space. But to be honest with you, there's absolutely tons. There's more than enough. It's not going to leave you wanting. There's 2 ISOFIX points. They're really easy to get to and get out again. And just in general, if you have 2 children's seats on either side, you might get a smaller adult in the center of the car. When you're not using that, there is of course a center armrest, and there's 2 cup holders. There is also access to the rear boot, because you might actually want to do some sort of snowboarding, skiing action in a car like this. I can't emphasize how much leg room and foot space there is in the back of the Forester. It really is excellent. And if anybody does kick the back of these seats or even puke over the back of them, you can zip these off and clean them. But please don't puke in the back of the car. Nobody likes that. I'm not massively comfortable back here, even if I look it. I do have a big bulky jacket on, but I can, as an adult, still fit in between these 2 child seats. Now, it might be a bit of a struggle to get your belt on, but certainly a smaller adult, especially with the floor set up the way it is, you would be fairly comfortable in the back of this. And if you're just not as wide as me, and I'm not particularly wide, don't forget the camera does add a few pounds, it is doable for child seats on either side and an adult in the middle. The E-Boxer battery has an 8-year warranty. The car itself has a 5-year with over 170,000 kilometers included in that. And I think for Subaru it's a pretty good improvement, especially on the interior of the car, which we're going to have a look at right now. So what are you thinking so far? It certainly is a big beast of a thing. These roof rails that can carry bikes and holiday gear, and with the sun visor on the sunroof closed, you'll barely hear a whistle with stuff on them. So there's lots of bits of refinement over previous versions of the Forester. But let's check out the inside anyway. Let us know what you're thinking so far of the car. It really has gotten incredibly dark as I look at my surroundings in this car. Since we started shooting this video, it's mad. There's an infrared camera and monitor here, and Subaru call it their eyesight technology. It basically can scan the driver's face, and when it gets to know you, you can actually see you're approaching the car and adjust your driver's seat and other things that you've set up for your favorite positioning based on your face and that recognition. It can also do things like spot when you're looking at a phone like this in traffic, and it will tell you to pay more attention. The same way if you're daydreaming, looking out a window of a car, it will warn you to pay more attention. Your climate control and everything is standard, again in the premium version, which does, for a small enough jump in price, get you things like heated steering wheel, which is really, really nice, although it very quickly gets a bit too hot, and particularly around here where there's bits of metal in the steering wheel, you can really feel it kind of burn into your hand. So I've had to turn that off after a few minutes. But the heated seats work wonderfully. They are really, really comfortable, great support in them. Again, larger people have expressed to some of the people in Subaru who've passed it on to me that they really find just getting in and out of the car is good, whether you're tall or kind of a larger person. In general, it is a comfortable place to be and you don't feel as squished. You have 3 modes for the all-wheel drive system: snow and dirt, deep snow and mud, and you've got your normal modes. There's just a little simple jog wheel, you just twist that and you select, you don't have to do anything else. There's vehicle hold assist for going down slopes and going up again. Again, just little aids that will help you when you need to take this vehicle off-road, should that be on your list of things to do. And then the normal stuff like CarPlay and Android is there. There is also Subaru's own internal Starlink, but that's for the Japanese market and won't work over this side of the world. But the seating position is really, really good. Visibility is massive. On the sun visors, again, little things they've done, like this extendable thing just to keep that extra bit of sunlight out, should it be a problem for you. It's massively far back to reach this sun visor that you can close, but you have to do that manually yourself. It doesn't come as part of the electric tilt sunroof, unfortunately. And there's tons of storage. You get USBs, 2 at the front and auxiliary, a 12-volt armrest with places, cup holder storage areas, everything you really expect, and everything that you want to be touching here in the car is of decent quality and really doesn't feel like your traditional Japanese stereotypical harder plastic. I think we've moved a long way from that, and Subaru certainly have in this Forester. There's paddles at the back of the steering wheel. Not really sure what they're for, but they're there anyway. And you've got buttons on your steering wheel which help you set up lots of things and control your cruise control, radar assisted, the speed limiting, all standard on the premium version of the Forester. The CVT style gearbox, it can be a little bit noisy particularly when you're accelerating the car. It's like that revving noise, though, can sometimes sound like a granny who's driving from Mass on a Sunday, has a Toyota Yaris, and you know the car never gets beyond second gear as it drives down the road at 40 or 50 kilometers an hour. That's the best way I can describe the engine sound when it's under load. When you're easing back off, as I approach a speed camera just at the side of the road, the display can tell me what speed zone I'm actually in, so I know how much I need to slam on the brakes or not. But once you're in that sort of relaxed, it's quiet, and it's a fairly quiet engine actually. You wouldn't really hear an awful lot out of it unless it's a little bit strained as you accelerate. Now, the fact that this car is a hybrid doesn't make a massive difference to fuel economy. Well, 9.5 late 8 litres per 100 kilometers is not too bad for a 2-litre petrol with all-wheel drive. So it is having some effect there, but certainly if you're getting this car with a view to having a hybrid that can tick over in slow start-stop traffic in electric mode, a lot of the time it's not that type of car. It's purely really to just bring the running costs and the CO2 levels of the car down slightly. But I think most people will be fairly tolerant of 8-9 litres per 100 kilometers from a car with all-wheel drive that is fueled by petrol.
And safety is something Subaru take very seriously. You get lots of it. Reverse automatic braking, you get side view mirrors, blind spot detection, the eyesight has pre-collision braking, adaptive cruise control, lead vehicle start alert, and lane departure, even with your hands off the steering wheel, works incredibly well.
It's beeping at me to tell me to keep my eyes on the road, which, as you can see there, they are. I don't know if maybe just my eyes are particularly hard for the camera to see. You might spend some time looking at the sensor going, I'm here. But it does work. It's constantly keeping an eye on you. There's a good bit of body roll from the car. It never feels too unpleasant though, because you've got so much grip going on. So I think overall it's not really something that you pay too much attention to. And it has that low speed electric car sound to warn pedestrians of your impending direction towards them. But don't know if it's really necessary because like I say, it's not in electric mode very often. There's not a single rattle out of that cabin, which does have decent quality materials wherever you're going to be touching them on a regular basis. The seating position when you're driving is very, very good though. It can only be when there's so much glass around you, windscreen, side windows, everything. Viewpoint from rear passenger seats with that elevated rear bench, which was described to me as almost like theatre style rise seats, but it certainly does mean you really can't see everything around you for the moments that even the Subaru isn't watching, which is not very often. It's not going to be a car for the masses. Subaru market share in Ireland isn't massive, but the car does everything that it claims it can do. And for people that need a car for their lifestyle as opposed to just getting people around, it certainly is a very good option for people to have. Whether it's that big boot, more room for interior space for larger passengers, or the fact that maybe you need to do some driving in poor weather conditions, perhaps off-road to a certain degree. It will do all those things and then carry your shopping from the supermarket at the weekends as well as that. So with that in mind, it is a great all-rounder for a lot of people, but then a lot of those things that this car can do aren't required by huge amounts of the driving public. And when you add the price in on this premium version to give or take €49,000, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of car for a lot of money, but not everybody needs this much car when it comes to practicality. Again, it's telling me to keep my eyes on the road there, where I'm clearly looking straight ahead. So whether you need really big eyes to make that system not beep at you every so often, I'm not sure, but there's nothing much I can do about my own head. So thank you for watching this review of the Forester E-Boxer. If you have a question, as always, please do leave it. If you've got a comment of living with one or any previous generation of Forester, how did you get on with it? How did it soak up the problems that everyday life can throw up at the car? I'd imagine it did it fairly comfortably. And anything that you need to ask is always welcome. And don't forget to like and maybe share the video as well. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.